Yeah, you're reading the title right. There was a time that I started a trend on YouTube. So you might be a little confused as to how we got here. Let me do some explaining. So I believe this was in December of 2024. I was in call with a couple of my friends, my editor Akari. I was in call with one of the guys from Switch Stop, and he was recording some footage for a upcoming video at the time. I believe it was like a best snow level in every like Mario Gamer video or something like that. I don't remember the exact video, but he was getting footage of Shiverburn Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 2. And I don't know like why this came to my mind, but I was like, it'd be kind of funny if there was someone out there that made a channel that was dedicated to just like a specific like level in a Mario game. And through that, we came up with the idea of what we would call Luncheon Kingdom Stop. This channel was dedicated to making videos just on the Luncheon Kingdom. I have no idea why this came to be, but we started scripting this video for Luncheon Kingdom about how Nintendo has forgotten about Luncheon Kingdom. You know, just kind of inspired by the Nintendo has forgotten about Mario meme video that Nintendo Land made. I mean, it wasn't a meme, but it became a meme. But anyways, we made that video, we started scripting it, but then we were like, you know, this is too much work. What if we have ChatGPT write this? So we wrote the intro, we gave ChatGPT the intro we wrote and was like, okay, you need to go in and finish this. And then, boom, Luncheon Kingdom Stop was born. This channel, however, was ran by Akari. So I was like, I kind of want to make one of these channels on my own. So I figured, why not make Woody Woodstop? We've had a running gag in our little friend group where Woody Woods is just like the funniest like Mario Kart or the funniest Mario Party board ever. And it's like always like Hard Donkey Kong and Woody Woods and something like that. So because of that, the first video I made on what was Woody Woodstop is what is Donkey Kong doing in Woody Woods? And the thumbnail I made, or the thumbnail I had for this video, was a thumbnail I made as a joke years ago when we were making like jokes about Hard Donkey Kong and Woody Woods. What does this mean? I don't know. I know that Hard Donkey Kong is like a meme in the Scott the Woz community. And then, you know, Woody Woods was Mario Party Superstars. Mac at one point played Mario Party Superstars blindfolded on stream, and he was on Woody Woods. So it became like a running joke amongst us that Hard Donkey Kong is in Woody Woods. And there was also Bowser Jr. 1. That's a whole nother thing. But because of those memes, Hard Donkey Kong and Woody Woods kind of became the mascot of what was Woody Woodstop. And that's where the birth of Woody Woodstop came in. So Luncheon Kingdom Stop and Woody Woodstop were going pretty strong for a couple of days there. Yeah, I say days because it didn't really last long. But I wasn't getting a lot of views on the Woody Woodstop like channel, whereas Luncheon Kingdom Stop was actually getting some decent views, which is insane to think about. So I was like, you know what? It's time to make some changes. So there was a video called Changes that came out where Woody Woodstop announced they were rebranding, and they were going to rebrand to what would be Wii U Stop. And let me tell you, Wii U Stop's rebrand was the start to what would become something absolutely insane. So I think a day after I rebranded to Wii U Stop, Akari rebranded to 3DS Stop. And we made our videos, and we thought it'd be kind of funny if there was kind of like conflict between the two channels. So there started to be a little bit of like a war between the two of them, where they would kind of take jabs at each other back and forth as to like which console is better, which handheld is better, whatever. And they would just like hate on each other. And then that led to what would go down in history as the most influential video in this whole saga, We Run This Game, which was a 3DS Stop diss track that Wii U Stop dropped. After this diss track came out, all hell broke loose, let me tell you. So from this, I feel like that there was at least like 30 different stop channels that were just came out of nowhere. There was N64 Stop, there was Wii Stop, 2DS Stop, Switch 2 Stop, GameCube Stop, Virtual Boy Stop, who ended up being Crazy Tendo, which was kind of funny, Game Boy Advance Stop. We just had all these stops that just came out of nowhere. They started commenting on the videos, and they started making their own videos. Like, there was just so many stop channels at one point. It was like hard to keep track of all of them. On the Wii U Stop channel, I'm subscribed to all of them, so that I could stay up to date as to what was going on. And let me tell you, there was just a lot of them at the peak of the stop verse. That's what we ended up calling it. And through that, me and Akari were like, wow, there's a ton ton of freaking just like stop channels that came in. So we were like, what if Wii U stop and 3DS stop, you know, the biggest sworn enemies, teamed up together? Because in the background, I don't remember if this was in the background, but there was like proposals of what was Wii Stop and Switch 2 Stop. Those two were like teaming up and wanted to take down Wii U Stop. So 3DS Stop and Wii U Stop made the ultimate alliance. The Wii U Stop and 3DS Stop alliance is stronger than ever, was the catchphrase for those two. That ended up leading into what would be the Stop Wars, where eventually Switch Stop officially became involved. It was actually just all Mac. Mac was kind of playing behind the scenes, just playing into it, and it was really funny. But there was a whole on Stop Wars where there was a bunch of alliances. There was the Stop Vengers, which was me, 3DS Stop, and then a couple other ones. There was, I think, the Stop Army that was like DS Stop, Wii Stop, and then Switch Stop, or at least Switch Stop said they were on the Stop Army. There's just a bunch of different alliances, and somewhere in there, N64 Stop came in, and he just kind of became a cult classic with his very bricked up Diddy Kong. It was very, very great stuff there. But let me tell you, it was insane just seeing all these like channels just making content on just like stops, like Stop Wars, stuff like that. It was just insane. It was just so funny to think about. But eventually it got to a point where it was just like becoming just too much. Not to diss on the people that made videos. A lot of them I feel like were on the younger side. And they just saw like Switch Stop was involved, and they saw all these like stop videos were like doing well, and they wanted to join in on the slop fest that was the Stopverse. But a lot of those videos honestly weren't super good. There is a couple channels that made decent ones. N64 Stop made some pretty good ones. Switch 2 Stop, their channel was pretty well. Even a Wii Stop, I had some like good stuff here and there. But like a lot of like the non-main ones, like the non-super important ones, the quality was just like honestly like pretty bad. And I feel like that like they kind of missed the bit of it, like being like these are supposed to be stupid videos, like this is not supposed to be taken seriously. Like I mean, you hear Hard Donkey Kong with a vine boom in the videos and you take it seriously? No. It is not supposed to be taken seriously. But it was to a point where me and Akari were like, we need to stop this. We started this, we got to be the ones to end it. So at one point, about probably like 4 or 5 months after the Stop verse started, at least to me, the Stop verse ended. And Wii U Stop made a video where it's the end of the Stop verse. And from there, Wii U Stop has kind of made some videos here and there. As in, I have made some videos on the channel here and there just when I'm absolutely bored and have nothing to do. But I truly feel like that the Stop Wars really ended after that first war. And all these like other, I guess, like wars that were supposed to come from the Stop verse. I mean, it's kind of cool that people wanted to keep the legacy of the Stop verse alive, but I feel like that the Stop verse truly peaked during the like kind of the era of the first Stop Wars. Honestly, that was just a ton of fun. Like just making stupid videos on the Wii U games and like, you know, Hard Donkey Kong energy. Just that in every video with a vine boom. Just content that was just so stupid. It was just a fun thing to do. Like there was no like substance to it, but I do think that it is pretty cool that it ended up leading to a trend on YouTube where there's all these like different channels inspired by different consoles, different games. Heck, there was even a Crescendo Stop at one point. I never made videos, but there was a Crescendo Stop at one point. And just like the fact that all these channels spawned in from this conflict and major quotation marks between 3DS Stop and Wii U Stop, it's just so funny to think about. Like I didn't think I would be in a position, especially as like a smaller YouTuber, where I would create a YouTube trend of some sort. But here we are. I created probably the dumbest trend on YouTube. I created the trend of stop channels. While like none of the channels got super big. I mean, N64 Stop, I think, is almost at 600 subs or 700 subs. So he's getting pretty close to Wii U Stop. But even though like none of the like channels got super big, there's just so many of them that obviously there is some sort of inspiration there. So I guess to like those of you that started and like created stop channels and made this trend possible, thanks for doing that. You really helped me make a weird part of YouTube history where there's just this slop fest of just channels that were just making stupid videos on Nintendo games and stuff like that. But just kind of seeing like the community come together and just do all that together was kind of fun. And honestly, while I don't think I see myself doing this again, I think that the journey of Wii U Stop and just everything involved with the stop verse, the stop wars and stuff like that was just a ton of fun, and I look back on it fondly. I had a good time with it. At this point, I don't know what I'm going to do with Wii U Stop. Maybe I'll release videos on it from time to time, but I think that channel is just kind of better off just being left in the past. I think that is just kind of a relic of an era of my life where I was just like, I had so much spare time, so I just wanted to like make stupid videos, and that was the way to do it. And honestly, I'm surprised that the channel hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm just saying, if I kept making content on that as regularly as I have, I probably could have been monetized making money off that crap. But I didn't want to get that far. I didn't want to make money on slop. But yeah, that was the story of how I created a trend on YouTube. Honestly, it's insane to think that I was able to make a stupid trend like I did here, but I guess anything's possible on the internet. If people are inspired enough to do something, they'll do it. And if they see more people doing it, it just creates a whole like universe of just weird, strange content. And honestly, I'm happy I was able to start that. With that though, that's it for this little story time episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit longer than the other ones, but I think this story definitely had more substance to it. This is just kind of me going off of the fact of like what I remember from it. I do eventually on my main channel want to go over just kind of like the entire I guess kind of break down the lore, the history of the Stopverse and just everything that happened and go into more detail on it. But this is kind of from my perspective as to what happened and how I remember it. So if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel as that helps me out a ton. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next story time or just random yap. Peace.